Well, hey, hi, and hello, and happy Saturday. Oh God, is it Saturday?
Yep, it's already Saturday.
It's Saturday.
The week's
Welcome,
gone flying
everybody.
by.
I know, seriously. Look, we've got 4 months left, less than 4 months left of this year. Already, can you believe
2022 has just been, 2021.
Where'd it go?
I know. It's one of those things that you're just kind of like, I can't believe how quickly it's gone by.
It has gone by really quick, which is crazy. And hopefully our time here today with you guys won't go super quickly. Welcome to Movie Couple Live. This is the show where we talk about the latest in pop culture and movie news. I'm Wendy.
I'm Dustin.
And today we will be talking about Emma Stone locked in for Cruella 2.
We're going to be talking about how Sabine Wren is rumored to appear in the new Ahsoka the Ahsoka live action series.
And of course, our What If and the Bad Batch season finale spoiler discussion. All this on the show and so much more. You guys, welcome. Are we doing okay?
Our sound is like deep voice.
How fun.
We are I wonder how I sound like if I'm like very low voice now.
I'm just going to do this. Hang on a second. I'm surprised that's
I actually just heard what we sounded like.
We're just gonna do
when
that.
I did
We
my low
sound
voice.
fine now.
Oh, are we just going through the computer?
Yeah. So sorry.
Oh,
Sorry for the
really
mic.
loud.
Yeah, the mic was a little hot. Sorry about that. All right. So, see, Starcher says the sound is low, and if it weren't for you, I would have thought to bump up the sound.
Oh, low pitch.
But low pitched. So, but luckily, other than that snafu, I guess we are a-okay as far as sound goes. So we'll just stick with this setting if we are sounding better.
Yep, we're sounding better.
Okay, great. So, top of the show.
Turn up the volume just a little bit.
Now it's too low. What about now?
A little more.
What about now?
We're good.
Fantastic. On OBS, there's no way to like preview what I'm gonna sound like because I can test it the night before. What now?
I'm good. Never mind.
No, what is it?
Oh, I was gonna say this sounds a little bit louder. So, because I had to wait for it to actually adjust and catch up. There we go. Okay, that's good. All right.
Navi, you're fired. She's not even in here. She's not even in here.
Sleeping on the job.
All right, so I'm gonna take these mics out of the way because we don't need them today. That's weird because last time the mic worked perfectly. But in any case, welcome to the show. Sorry for the snafu again. I'll try to see if I can figure out if there is a way for me to kind of preview that before I hit go live. So we will see, but at least gives everybody a bit of a laugh, which is the whole point of this whole thing, aside from discussing movie news and nerdy stuff. So before we get started, we do want to let you know that our that is already up. The Bad Batch season finale reaction is now up on the channel. For all my Patreon people, I don't know why I say that name weird. Patreon folks, the spoiler review for Suicide Squad will go up tonight. I ran into a snafu while I was editing, and I decided to just do the whole thing over because I was unsatisfied with it. So that is why it's weird. The video and things didn't sync up, and I hated it, so I scrapped it. But now it will be back. Welcome back, Debbie, to the live chat there. So before we go live, we all know that Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Ring is coming out on September 3rd. We also know that, kind of unlike its previous live-action films, such as The Jungle Cruise, Cruella, Black Widow, Raya and the Last Dragon, it's instead of a day-and-date release, which means it's the same time in theater and on Disney Plus via Premier Access, we're actually doing something a little different this time around, and Disney CEO Bob Chapek said that they're doing a theatrical release only for Shang-Chi, and then they have a 45-day period before it goes to, I believe, the streaming platform. I'm not sure, I'm looking at this right now, I'm not sure if that means after 45 days it'll just be on Disney Plus, or it'll be on Disney Plus with the Premier Access. I actually don't have I don't have like in this article that I'm reading, I am not sure.
Well, and also that's exactly the same deal that Warner Brothers made with AMC recently, right? Because we talked about that on the last show.
We did.
That they had a 45-day window to where it could only be shown in the theaters.
Yes.
I don't know if there was any word that Disney made the same deal with other movie theaters, or if it's just one of those things that since they're Disney, they could kind of do whatever they want.
Well, I mean, granted, it is, their, I'm going to unplug this because there's just too much running through my computer right now. Yeah, I mean, I guess they can, try to change up their plans and see what fits. If the previous model after so many movies wasn't really working, and giving them the result that they were hoping for or projecting, sure, it's natural to change it up. But the way Bob Chapek kind of said it in the Wednesday, I think it was like was it the stockholders meeting or some sort of like third quarter meeting? He called it that the new release plan is, quote, an interesting experiment.
Oh.
Of course, star of the film, Simu Liu, kind of fired back on Twitter and had this to say, which, like, I honestly don't disagree. He said, quote, and thank you for those of you who dropped it in our Discord. He said, we're not an experiment. We are the underdogs, the underestimated. We are the ceiling breakers. We are the celebration of culture and joy that will persevere after an embattled year. We're the surprise. I am fired the F up to make history on September 3rd. Join us. So we know Simu Liu doesn't shy away from voicing his opinion. And I kind of, do agree, the way it was worded, like an interesting experiment. It's kind of like, are we just experimenting on,
I think
the first film that we have that's a Asian superhero, and I'm sure he doesn't. I feel like he doesn't mean it that way.
Yeah.
Right, because in the word of the context, I kind of understand, but also at the same time, it can be taken in that we could have maybe used another verb to describe.
Yeah, because when you're really trying to promote your movie and you're proud of your movie, and then someone's like, "Oh, it's an experiment," you're like, "No, I want to show pride. This is us being confident in it." But it is going to be kind of interesting because this is going to be one of the first huge blockbusters to just be released in theaters only for a good chunk of time. And especially the fact that we still have a little bit less than a month before Shang-Chi comes out. Yeah. So things might change a little bit between now and then. Yeah. And this whole time we thought by this time we'd be like, in the clear. Yeah. And it's still a little muddy out there.
By all means, I don't really mind this new release schedule. I feel like Disney's a business, right? It's sure they want to put out great content, but they also want to, I get it, make money so they can pay their people. So I get that, but I just feel like the wording is a little, So I feel like I kind of understand Simu Liu's, respond to that, but I also understand that in an age of a pandemic, we do have to find ways to, maximize the profit in what ways we can. The movie's already been delayed, I think, 2 different times. So I really hope that this new release model works out for Shang-Chi, and maybe this is the way to go moving forward for other movies. So fingers crossed. We'll see. You guys know that we are big Disney fans. You guys know that we are so excited for Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings. So we can't wait. I feel like it's going to be fantastic already.
And I do stand corrected. I do believe a couple of you guys... Ruru 2, you did Free Guy. That is right. Free Guy was a theater only. Yes. It did not premiere on any of the streaming services. Correct. And I'm not sure, was Fast and the Furious?
Day and date.
Yeah, they both came out.
Because that is a WB movie. So here's a little thing that's different about Free Guy. I think because prior to the merger, that was under Fox. Yeah. So I think perhaps that was maybe part of the deal. And I don't know the ins and outs of that, but I think that's probably why it kind of was a little bit different because of, it was literally under a different studio until the merger, and maybe there's something in the contract that couldn't change that. I don't know. I haven't read the contract, obviously, not privy to those information. But yeah, very curious to see, Blade GTR is saying, curious to see the number on Free Guy. It's such a fun, fantastic movie. You're going to have a great time if you go to the theater and check this out. You're going to laugh. You're going to feel great, walking out of the theater. You're going to hum the Mariah Carey fantasy song. It's going to be a good time. Obviously, if you don't want to go to the theater because we're in a pandemic, you can wait for it to, hit VOD. Mm-hmm. And it's still the same, I think, 90 days still.
Oh, really? So they're
90, maybe I don't know.
We'll find out. Like,
We'll find
see
out.
how long it takes for them to put.
Fast 9's Universal. Whoops.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's right. But it released on VOD at the last of the month. I don't know why I thought it was. Because we got to see it. Oh, but we saw it in theaters.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I'm getting everything twisted. But anyways, I just thought that was an interesting bit of news that was dropped in our Discord via our movie bunch. Thank you so much for those of us for those of you guys who continue to put news and new things in there. So we appreciate that. Moving on to our news flash. Since we're kind of on the theme of Disney, these are all Disney topics now that I'm looking at it. The entire show is Disney, so strap in. We're going to Disney, guys. So Disney Plus is going to be finally available in Taiwan, Hong Kong, and South Korea by November of this year, which makes me so excited. One, if Dustin and I end up deciding we want to take a trip to Taiwan and stay for a little while, we'll still get to catch up on all our favorite Marvel shows, our favorite Star Wars shows, our favorite movies. And on top of that, my dad can finally watch all these Marvel shows and Star Wars shows that I keep telling him and texting him about that he doesn't have any sort of reference to other than what he, can find on the internet as far as like a research, like an article, but he hasn't had the chance to watch any of the Mandalorian, so he doesn't know anything. So I'm trying to describe Baby Yoda to him. I think he literally thought Baby Yoda like Yoda had a kid, or that it is like the time. Now I've skewed his entire timeline, and he's not understanding. And then I talked to him about this, prior to Baby Yoda getting the name Grogu, when that name was revealed. So now I say Grogu, and he's like, but what about Baby Yoda? And I said, it's the same person. The whole text chain is kind of a mess. So I can't wait for them to get Disney Plus, so he can watch all the shows, so we can talk about it finally, because it's my dad.
Yeah, he got you into Star Wars.
He's the one that got me into Star Wars.
You gotta watch this.
Yeah, we went to the theater in Taiwan together to watch, what was the third movie in the
Return
prequel?
of the Jedi.
In the prequel.
Oh, in the prequel. That's Revenge of the Sith.
We saw that together in Taiwan. Like, I waited until I went home to watch that with him. So
Aww.
it was a good time. We didn't love the movie, but it was still a good time in the theaters.
You're like, it's still Star Wars. We still gotta go see it. Speaking of Star Wars.
Hey, oh.
Oh, wow. We didn't even coordinate that.
We didn't coordinate this. I just literally was like, what am I wearing today? This shirt seems fine. That's awesome. In other Disney Plus or Disney news, Emma Stone has been confirmed to return for Cruella 2, but also, like, why wouldn't you have her and want her to return? I think she was so much fun to watch as a young Cruella. I was kind of worried about seeing this movie because I don't feel like it's always necessary for us to see, like, the origin of a villain. But the way they did this, it was so good. The fashion's fantastic. The soundtrack is, like, out of this world. And now, if you've already seen Cruella and you stayed for the post-credit scene, then you know what we're probably going to get in Cruella 2. And this maybe opens the door for a live-action 101 Dalmatian, if Cruella 2 is not 101 Dalmatian.
That's what I was actually going to ask you. Do you really think that Cruella 2 would take us, the entire story will end where 101 Dalmatians begins? Or do you think it's going to be the story of 101 Dalmatians, just disguised as Cruella 2?
I think there's a bit of gap of time that we need to fill in before we get to where Cruella is in the animated version of 101 Dalmatian. So I think Cruella 2 is going to fill in the gap here. It's going to kind of expand on her relationship with Anita and how that kind of took a turn for the sour, and how Roger, how that is going to play into Roger and Anita's relationship. So I think there's some story that needs to be filled in there before we get to, if they do a live 101 Dalmatian with Emma Stone attached, then we can kind of go there. Because if we go straight to 101 Dalmatian, then there's going to be a ton of time in the movie spent on expositions. To be like, well, this is what happened, and flashback this and that. And not that I don't mind a good flashback montage, but we don't always need it when we can just get another fashion-filled, amazing Cruella. Like, maybe she slowly becomes the Baroness.
Pretty much. I mean, honestly, that probably would be. She becomes a worse version of her mother, kind of a thing. But yeah, we would still need. Oh, you got a super chat. Thank you so much, Marvin Martin. But yes, what is it? To see the development a little bit more of her character, to find out that she becomes a worse version of her mom, and to develop the relationship.
Her mom was pretty bad.
Yeah, the fact that she planned that murder.
Awful.
And to see the development of the romantic interest between Roger and Anita, and how they might have a relationship with Cruella.
Yeah, so it's going to be real. And then also to, see how her relationship continues, her friendship, I guess, with Jasper and what is the
Horace.
other guy's name? Yes, thank you, God.
I loved those two.
Yeah,
I have
those
to
two
admit,
are great.
they did a great job on writing those two. They were pretty much like the grounding factor for...
You mean the writers did a great job?
What'd I say?
They did a great...
They did a... Well,
sorry, I thought you meant they, like the characters themselves wrote themselves. No, I was confused for a second.
The writers did an amazing job on making you care for these characters, making them fit with what they were in the previous 101 Dalmatians, and see how they evolved throughout the movie.
Yeah,
I really thought they were
bitter
fun to
and
watch.
jaded, or do they just become like kind of fear Cruella, but then they still stay by her side because maybe they enjoy the luxurious lifestyle? I don't know, but very excited for this. I think Emma Stone had a great time playing Cruella, and I think she did a great job, and I can't wait to see. Just as much as I want to see where the story goes, the fashion. Marvin Martin, like Dustin said, thank you so much for your super chat. And Marvin Martin writes, for laugh, read politically correct bedtime stories.
Politically correct? Okay, I am.
Are you going to look at...
Screen capping.
Oh, okay, I was going to say, don't look it up now. We're in the middle of a show.
No, I'm just screen capping it so I can remember to look it up.
That's awesome. And Marvin confirms that it is a book. It is a book, so that's our daily or our weekly recommendations from Marvin.
Thank you so much, Marvin.
So much. Moving on to other Disney news that's not in this galaxy, in a galaxy far, far away. We are talking the Ahsoka live action, which we know that they have been working on. We've already seen snippets, not snippets, it's a full episode of Ahsoka Tano in live action on The Mandalorian, of course, played by Rosario Dawson. So we're treating this as a rumor because it's not been confirmed by Disney or Lucasfilm or any of the people involved in the show. But the Ahsoka series reportedly will feature Sabine Wren as a starring role opposite Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka Tano. And so there's apparently sources saying that they are looking for an actress to star opposite Rosario Dawson, which honestly, if you've been following Rebels, if you watched the end of it, it 100% makes sense, because at the end of Rebels, or of that one episode, we do see Ahsoka come back. She's in the white cloak, she gets Sabine, and then they go off in search of Thrawn and Ezra Bridger. We already know that who is the actor who played... Why am I blanking on all the names today? The actor who plays Aladdin.
Oh, yeah.
We know that he is rumored, right? To be, or has he been confirmed? I think it's still a rumor.
I think there's both still rumored that the voice actor for Thrawn in Rebels and Aladdin are going to be playing those
their
characters.
Respective,
but
characters.
I think it's still rumor. I don't think it's 100% confirmed.
I don't think it's 100% confirmed, as in, like, I don't think there's been a statement put out by Disney or Lucasfilm confirming that. But I'm very excited. Like, it sounds like it's shaping up to be the story that I'm hoping to see. I can't wait to see, like, a live action Thrawn.
Yes.
It's gonna look so good. And for Sabine Wren, like, I don't know if they just don't use Taya Sircar, like, who is the voice actor for Sabine. I would love them to just use her.
Yeah.
You've seen her in The Good Place. If you didn't know that, she also did television acting and other things. She was in The Good Place. And I think she would fit. Yeah, I really think she would fit.
She would really fit that character in real life. It's not like one of those things to where,
Mita
like,
Masad, thank you.
Where it's like the actor looks completely different than from the character in a cartoon. They do look very similar, and it would make sense to have Sabine Wren in this, and not just a small role, but to have her in there as a co-star kind of a thing. Because at the very end of Rebels, they're going off together. We know that they're still looking for Thrawn, so that means they're probably also still looking for Ezra, because Thrawn and Ezra would be about in the same place, I'm assuming.
And also in The Mandalorian, we definitely heard that name drop, Thrawn. You know, so Ahsoka, obviously this is before she's met up with Sabine, and I think that scene in The Mandalorian is a perfect doorway to establish what Ahsoka is doing in her series, and it could potentially pick up from after her gathering information about Thrawn's whereabouts, pinning him down, and then we can get back to that scene of her in the white cloak picking up Sabine, and then they go off. And can you imagine the series just picks up from there?
Yeah,
that would be so cool.
We don't know exactly when that last scene takes place in Rebels. You know, it could have been after what happens in The Mandalorian. So we see what happens in The Mandalorian. She gets that information. Hey, I know where Thrawn is. Goes and gets Sabine, and they're off. I would love for them to actually reenact that scene at the end of Rebels.
Be so good, and to see. I hope the prosthetics will hold up okay against the white cloak. They might have to build in some support beams, so it doesn't smush down the foam latex. You know. I actually like what MK Songbird is saying here in the chat. He says, "My fan cast choice for Sabine is still Chloe Bennett." Honestly,
that actually would work.
That would work as well. I mean, she's not doing Powerpuff Girls anymore, so she could maybe she's on the list to audition. And
she's a part of the Marvel family, kind of a thing. She's
Quake.
She did a lot of stuff for S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, so that would be
Agents
really
of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah. So that's something that we are looking forward to, and would be really cool. I can't wait to find out who is going to be playing Sabine and when we find out about that. And then this is Debbie sent us in the little message on Discord. This is kind of in relation to what we're talking about earlier about who is going to be playing Ezra, and we said that like it's very much a rumor by Mina Masad because, again, Disney has not confirmed it, Lucasfilm has not confirmed it, Star Wars has not confirmed it. So we can say even though we're like most likely this is going to happen, can't really say it's confirmed until the studios confirm it or their reps confirm it. But Debbie did send over an article by Slash Film, a friend of the show, and the title is, "Did Rosario Dawson just confirm Ezra and Thrawn in Ahsoka?" And I think it's because she went on their social media and said like, "Welcome to the fam" or something like that. I do remember reading this once upon a time. So it was like a story or something like that.
And she kind of like
so she kind of reposted a story which said Mina Masad and Lars Mikkelsen reportedly joins Ahsoka Disney Plus series, and her kind of comment on that, or not comment, but it's a little, you can add like text to a story. Her text was, "Yes, best news ever. I need my representation in Star Wars and can't wait to see my BBs thrive in Ahsoka as my fave characters from the universe." So that is directly from her account. So potentially that is true. No one's denying it.
Yeah. No one's coming out here and going, no, this isn't true.
Yeah.
But usually big studios don't come out and say something's not true unless it's like really wrong.
Correct.
Kind of a thing.
Correct.
So
but they also can't confirm because what if the deal's not finished being signed?
Exactly.
Things can change last minute. Maybe that whole thing is, it's lawyers and agents and managers all get involved. So it takes a bit, but it's good news. I think it's going to be really, really great. I'm very excited, as you guys know, as a diehard Ahsoka fan. Very, very, very excited for this news, and I can't wait to see who they're going to cast as Sabine. She's got to be in it, right? It makes sense.
Yeah, the story would have to go in a completely different direction than what I anticipate.
Well, she would just be solo. It wouldn't necessarily need to go in a different direction. Maybe you'd have to explain why for Rebels it doesn't match up, because when does she pick up Sabine?
Yeah.
But other than that, she can very much, roll solo. It's not like she's a stranger to being solo after all those years after Order 66. So.
Yeah, true.
She can handle her stuff. All right, you guys. Sorry.
Well, even in after Order 66, she was oh no, listen, that was when she left the Jedi. I was thinking that after Order 66 she met up with the sisters.
The Martez sisters?
The Martez sisters. But I'm like, wait, no, that was after
she left Jedi
she left
Order.
the Jedi Order.
Yeah, that was pre
Star
Order
Wars
66.
timeline. So hard to keep track of.
Well, we're going to go ahead and move on to our main topics, where we're going to be talking about the spoiler discussions for the season finale of The Bad Batch, as well as the first episode of What If. So, spoiler warning for everybody, which is why we always put this towards the end of the show, or the second half of the show, is so you guys have some time with us before we run off and start talking spoilers for both of these shows. So if you haven't watched those shows yet, we suggest you maybe depart now so you don't have anything spoiled for you, because we're going to dive right into it. And with that said, you have been warned. Spoilers starting now. And let's go ahead and start with The Bad Batch, the season finale, episode 16, entitled Camino Lost. Wow. No more Camino. It's gone bye-bye.
I have to admit, there were some visuals in this episode that just really hit, because they started right off with still blasting away at Camino and seeing some of those, some of the big parts of the city just crash into the ocean, because, yeah, Camino's been such a big part.
Oh, yeah.
Of Star Wars lore now, ever since the Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, it really has, definitely had its presence in Star Wars movies and stories. So to see it not just like slightly destroyed, but like gone. And there was a comment who was really interesting, that it didn't even register with me, because I think I was in such shock at the end of that episode, seeing kind of where they were going. Is that the comment said, oh, so no one's gonna mention that finally there's sunlight shining down on Camino, and now it's finally destroyed. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And it's true, because it's always, covered with thunderclouds and rainy and dark weather, and now it's bright and sunny, but it's destroyed. Symbolism, guys. Amazing. No, I really enjoyed this episode. I do kind of wish it was a little bit longer, because I felt that like the Bad Batch with Crosshair and Omega really spent a lot of time trying to escape. I was hoping that they would escape maybe 15-20 minutes into the episode, and it leaves us 10 for us to kind of see what their next move is to really set us up for season 2. This end feels like, because there's no major cliffhanger, which is probably good, that like inevitably, if they ever decide to like not do season 2, we could have just ended here. But it's interesting, because we do get to see, the Bad Batch not being able to patch their relationship with Crosshair. We get to see Omega really coming into her own even more so, like her knowledge on Camino and like the underground tunnels and things like that. Like that very close call with AZ was really heartbreaking.
And you know what? And the fact too that throughout the entire episode, of course, you have Crosshair, who's constantly going, oh, you're gonna let the kid decide.
I was
this
so
is what
annoyed
happens
by him
when you
in this
let
episode.
the kid call the shots. But yet, every single time, she was able to either save Crosshair, get him out of trouble, find a way, and she was the one who kind of led them all to victory.
Yeah, she really did. So, but I guess that's just the path that he's chosen. We didn't get the answer about whether or not he really did have that chip in his head. I fully believe that it's still in his head. He held his head one too many times, like he had a headache, just like Wrecker did. Yeah. So that was too like, and Crosshair doesn't seem like the kind of person to me where he's in a situation he's going, yeah. Like that's just not his personality.
He wouldn't show physically show his stress unless it was something that was actually causing him pain.
Right, like it should have. Yeah, it was actually like this was a pain where he was kind of like, man, this actually hurts, and I really can't, it's really affecting me. So I really do feel that the chip is still in. I don't think they ever took it out, and I think what he said about this is the way I am is actually not the way he is. But that's just my wishful thinking, because I would like to see the Bad Batch in its full 5-member unit together. Other than that, we get to go to this one planet. Somebody said it in the comments of our reaction video, but I forgot the name already. But where we get to see where the Empire takes Nala Se, the scientist.
If I'm not mistaken, I think the city. Someone was saying that the planet was a planet that was in heir to the Empire. So it could be that they are actually meeting up with Thrawn. So I think
interesting.
That's all just theory. I'm not even sure what because I have not read Heir to the Empire yet. It's on my Audible. I want to read it. I've heard it's so good. I'm excited to get into it. But the fact that they're now starting to connect all of these different threads and bringing in some of the books, bringing in some of the finally figuring out what they're doing with all of the Camino scientists, and the human that met. If you look at it wasn't just the patch. It was the entire outfit
that Dr. Pershing had. Did she not have the goggles too? Oh
she
no,
had
but he wears glasses.
Yeah.
So it's different. Okay, sorry.
And the fact is that they're starting to plant seeds for events that happened 30 years or about 30 years, because we have to go through the entire original trilogy,
right.
and then 5 years after Return of the Jedi to get to what happened in Mandalorian. So it is so cool that they keep on just sprinkling in more and more little things to connect all of these different properties together.
That's incredible. I can't wait to see, because the Star Wars universe, it's inevitably going to all interconnect. So I can't wait to see what we get to see in episode 2. I actually can't wait right now for the Book of Boba Fett, because I want to see if there's even, I don't need a live action appearance by the Bad Batch, because they might be like not around by then. But like I would love like a mention from Fennec Shan. Like, man, I remember I was chasing this one clone for the Kaminoans and whatever. Just like a mention would be so cool.
I mean, they could definitely have Omega in there, but I think by the time they get to the timeline of Mandalorian, that's 30 years. Unless they are like super old. Well, I guess Rex.
Well, yeah,
might
that's
still
true.
be around.
Yeah.
Rex was supposed to be
Old Man Rex.
Old Man Rex is supposed to be that old guy in Return of the Jedi. I love the fact that they were just like, yes, that is Rex. We did not mean to put that in there. It was never planned like that, but it fits perfectly. Rex was in the Battle for Endor.
Yeah. That's great. God, we love Star Wars. And hey, before we move on to our next show that we want to dive into some spoilers for, real quick, going back into the chat room, Vanja says, let's jump into Avatar, which reminds me that I forgot to mention that I think it was just this past Wednesday, right? We talked about the possible news of, we saw the cast list for Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So, but we weren't sure. We were treating it like a rumor because it hadn't been confirmed by the studio. Well, lo and behold, we got the email, and obviously all the entertainment news outlets are reporting this. That is the confirmed cast for Avatar: The Last Airbender, the series that's going to be on Netflix. Some very, very exciting news, I think. I think the casting, the age, the appearance, the representation across the board for me looks really fantastic. And I think these, because they're so young, they can grow with the show, because kids grow fast. Like if you look at the Stranger Things kids now, like they're grown.
It is so weird
They're grown.
to look at the season 1 of Stranger Things and look at some of the pictures for like the new season that's coming out.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, I knew these kids when they were like teeny tiny.
Teeny tiny, itty bitty.
Mm-hmm.
I did read on, I think it was like under the Variety tweet that was announcing like the confirmation of the 4 actors to play Aang, Katara, Sokka, and Zuko, were saying that they were worried that because the original show creators are no longer a part of the project, they were worried that they were going to go in the ways of a Zutara, which the animated never did, because Zuko was it May? I think it was May, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not Mei Ling. Not the circus performer, but the one that's like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. They were always kind of the two that were...
Yeah, with Zuko.
Right. Like, there was never, like, a Katara Zuko, as far as I can remember.
There was a little bit of a moment where Katara did start to, like, have romantic feelings a little bit. They were like, oh, my gosh. And that was a big problem, is that when he does betray them, it's the fact that she is so hurt, now she doesn't trust him ever again. It was the fact that she started feeling sympathetic towards him and started to think, oh, maybe this whole time that we've been running from this guy, he's just been misunderstood. Mm-hmm. And when push came to shove, he went back to the Fire Empire, the Fire Nation. I'm like, Fire. Which one is it?
Your brain totally farted.
Oh my! Today is just a brain fart day for me. Actually,
okay.
Most days are.
So far, no suckles, so we're good.
Oh my god!
Gotta bring it back.
Thank you so much, hon. I'm so glad you brought that back.
No problem. But I really don't foresee that happening. One, Dallas Liu is 20. Kiawentio is 14. I don't really think that they're going to make the actors have any sort of romantic, those two characters.
Well, not until maybe later on.
Well, yeah, she's physically then have to age.
Yeah, true.
4 years, so I think there is that. Thank you, Patri 9100 for subscribing to the
Thank
Movie
you
Couple
so much.
channel. Don't know if you're watching, but if you are, thank you so much. We see you and we appreciate you. I honestly feel like for this series, they're gonna focus on the story without needing to focus on the relationship aspect of it.
Yeah.
Maybe Sokka can have his moment with the Kyoshi warrior.
With Suki.
With Suki.
Oh, but also he has that romantic
with the moon goddess. With
Yue. With Yue.
With Yue as well. Sokka's the man. Okay.
Yeah, Sokka has a lot of romantic interests.
I mean, look, he's funny. He's got the big brother mentality. He's protective. Like, why not? Who doesn't like a funny guy? So, but I think for the people who are worried about a Zutaro or anything like that, I honestly don't think we have to really worry about that. I don't feel like they're gonna hope. Well, the hope is that they don't stray too far. From the source material. And the showrunner Albert Kim was saying that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He literally said that in one of the interviews. So I'm gonna assume that they're just gonna make it a cool adaptation of our favorite animated show. He did also mention that the visual effects will make the bending very realistic and visceral and raw and visceral, I think is what he said, which I'm very excited to see.
I hope so, because honestly, that is one of the most amazing things about Avatar: The Last Airbender is the choreography, the bending, the martial arts, and I can't believe just how much we were let down in the M. Night Shyamalan version. The little pebble.
We don't like to talk about that movie here.
I like to bash it.
I'm allergic to it.
So moving on to what? Oh, unless you get something
there's actually one more piece of news. I think MK dropped it in here, and I think Noah is also saying it in the chat as well. And then so we'll say this piece, and then we'll move on to our what if discussion. So we were talking about Free Guy just a little earlier. It wasn't one of the topics, but we mentioned it. It's in theaters now. If you feel safe going to the theater, we highly suggest you enjoy it because you're gonna have a good time. You're gonna come out. You're gonna hum the Mariah Carey song. You're gonna be a big fan of Jodie Comer if you aren't already. So, according to Ryan Reynolds, Twitter writes, and after 3 years messaging hashtag Free Guy as an original IP movie, Disney confirmed today they officially want a sequel. Woohoo! Hashtag irony. So
if you guys have
excited.
not gotten a chance to see Free Guy, we cannot recommend it enough. It was fun. It was fresh. It was an awesome, exciting ride. Lots of good action. Lots of good comedy. True, it is very much a Ryan Reynolds comedy, style of comedy, but I love that. I have not gotten tired of it at all. So I'm like, give me more, give me more.
Yeah, as long as we can bring this core cast back, I need a Joe Keery. I need a Jodie Comer. I definitely need Ryan Reynolds. If the three of them are in, and Laurel Howery. If the four of them are in, I'm in.
I loved him too.
Yeah, he's
I love that moment with the
film.
dude.
Oh God! But let's not spoil too much because it literally came out yesterday.
They showed that in a trailer, but I'm not gonna tell you what
about. Say no
about.
more after that.
Say no more.
Say no more after that.
You're gonna love the dude.
Yeah, it's going to be great. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and dive right into our spoiler discussion for episode 1 of What If. This one, obviously, you've already seen the episode. If you've seen the trailers, this one is based on Captain Carter. So what if Peggy Carter was the first Avenger and not Steve Rogers? And I see a lot of people saying on Twitter, they're like, oh, it was just an okay, lukewarm episode because, yes, it is kind of taking the Captain America story and,
just retheming it
a little bit, but I think it was still really cool, especially with Haley Atwell voicing her character. I think that adds an extra a little extra oomph into the series and see how she handles some of the things, because people had doubt about Steve, right, because of his size, his physical appearance, he's scrawny, he's little, he's got a big heart, great, but so what? And then once he had the super soldier serum, they still we're putting him on like USO tours instead of like fighting the war.
Yeah.
But with Peggy, they didn't even put her on the USO tour. They were just kind of like, you're lucky you're even in this room right now. It was like misogyny up the AF, and I was like, well, that's what it's like for women back then. She really had to prove herself.
I really do like the fact, though, that they did tease that a little bit. The fact that they did tease, well, they can just put you on one of the USO shows.
Steve said that too.
And I was like, I like the fact on how well they actually did pretty much sum up the entire Captain America story in a 25-minute episode. They hit all of the points well. They still had really good pacing. I love the animation in this episode, and I thought this was a nice little introduction kind of storyline, something that's not too incredibly wild of a what if story, but kind of like, hey guys, this is what we've got. This is kind of like, this is the appetizer, and everything about it just made me want more, which is exactly what they're doing for this series, for this season. And this is like I've been saying, this is a series that could go on forever. I mean, even if in the MCU they end up like fixing the multiverse kind of a thing, you can still have what if stories. What if they didn't fix the multiverse kind of a thing? I'm so excited about this. And so far, this is, I think, a really good start, a really good kind of
you got to do it, right? Because like Captain America, the first Avenger, like it makes sense for this story being told through Peggy as a way to kick off the What If series. Like I, for one, absolutely enjoyed her kicking butt, using the shield and just being, I want to say she's a little bit more ruthless than Captain America. Like she was killing people, and I was like, was Steve's body count that high?
I don't know. I don't think there were that much brutality in the original Captain America. I mean, she's running forward. She knocked that entire group of guys up really high, and that boom, and she kicks them.
She
I was like,
him second
oh!
She's like, I got the power, boom! I don't care. No, seriously, love this so much, and just seeing kind of also what happened with Mr. Red Skull here, not voiced by Hugo Weaving. Oh, that's the stumper that was meant to come up next. I didn't even put him in here. All right, never mind. But with Red Skull, when he called forth this the tentacle, I forgot the name already, but like they kind of grabbed him with his tentacle and he crushed him, and I was like, oh, that's the end. That's how that story ends.
I was like, wow, that's
okay.
Well, and it would kind of make sense because one, you don't have Hugo Weaving, so you don't really want to use his voice too much. But the actor that they got, I think, did a really good job on mimicking and doing a really good job on sounding a lot like Hugo Weaving.
Yeah, I really liked how the story was told, and kind of seeing the opposite side of, Peggy not being able to like get drunk, and she enjoyed a good whiskey. And what didn't change was the love between Peggy and Steve. That never changed, and I actually love the fact that even though Steve didn't get the super soldier serum, was still being able to part of the fight. As we can see, Howard built him called the Hydra Stomper. Really, really cool. Looks very much like first generation Iron Man. Obviously makes sense because it is a Stark design, like father, like son. So I guess Tony Stark, like you said, won't be the first one in this timeline. Won't be the first person to make a quote unquote Iron Man suit because Dad did it first, essentially. But I love that.
And that's actually something that I would love to see. If they continue if they continue this story of what if, they already have an Iron Man-esque kind of a person or a character. Would Tony then...
Did we say... Sorry, you finish your thought and then I'll...
I would love to see what the Avengers would look like if Peggy Carter was Captain America in the Avengers movie with Loki, kind of a thing. So I'm curious. I mean, that's why I can't wait for a season 2.
Yeah.
I would love to see some of these stories. Actually, almost
all... I need another Captain Carter episode.
Yeah.
In season 2, 100%. Because now she is in the present timeline where, like you said, where Loki would have come through, but it was her. And like... how that's gonna play out. Like I need to see it all. So my thing when I accidentally interrupted you was both Shane and Debbie said no, Steve wasn't voiced by Chris Evans. Sorry if we said that. We know that he's not. We were talking about Hugo Weaving, who also didn't do the voice for that. We know that the people who returned were Dominic Cooper to voice Howard Stark. We know that Nick Fury, Samuel Jackson and Jeremy Renner returned to voice their respective roles. Bradley Whitford, Stanley Tucci for the Doctor, and who else am I missing? Well, I'm not sure about Sebastian Stan.
Wasn't Peggy Carter?
We said that at the beginning.
Yes,
very true. Yeah. So sorry if that was miscommunicated, but we definitely know and are aware that Chris Evans did not return for to voice his character.
But I think they still, even though it seems like they tried to get as many of the original actors as possible, they still did a really good job with not having the original actors' voices in those characters. I thought it's still a lot of fun, a lot of really good entertainment.
Yes.
So. Honestly, if you guys have not, actually, you probably wouldn't be watching the spoiler review or the spoiler talk.
Some people do because they don't care.
If you haven't seen it.
Some people do.
But also, what are some of your guys' thoughts too? I heard some people were thinking that they didn't like this episode because it was pretty much just a complete retheming of the Captain America storyline. Whether or not that bothered you, I actually thought it was fun. I love these kind of things where they just tweak one little thing in a story and they can kind of hit those same beats.
Yeah. I mean, what's cool is what the watcher, Jeffrey Wright, said at the beginning is when Peggy was offered to, like, wouldn't you be more comfortable up in the room? And she's like, I think I'll stay. And then Jeffrey Wright's voice comes to him and is like, there. And with that choice, that was the moment. And it's so cool, that one simple choice. So it makes me wonder, I was like, is she a Nexus event? She created a...
Well, that choice would have been a Nexus event, but now that
I want one of these episodes to have, like, animated TVA agents come in to the door, or, like, Miss Minute pop up, hey, y'all!
I think that would be really funny if there was an episode that actually had the TVA come in, like, grab the person,
but nobody notices.
Leaves, but then someone comes up and like what is this, and deactivates the
charge.
The charge.
So it doesn't stay.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that'd be so interesting. Okay, here's something interesting. Ruru2 said it got too predictable. I think for the first episode of What If, having the episode being a little predictable is okay, because that means we still kind of lived within our comfort zone of, like, I know this property, I know how the story is going to go, but it's interesting to see a different person in the role of previously Captain America and now Captain Carter. But you guys know already that we've seen the first 3 episodes. I can tell you episode 2 and episode 3 is not predictable at all.
None.
Sure, it kind of still exist within various stories in the Marvel universe that we know, but like I think the similarity, characters and whatnot, ends there. It is a What If series, so it's like episode 2 is going to get real interesting. I just say that. I can't wait for you guys to see it next
episode 2 is
Tuesday / Wednesday.
Episode 2 and 3 are really awesome. I love the things that they tweaked in it. But also, I think I missed that where it went, but I loved how the idea if they continue with Peggy Carter as Captain America, or as Captain
Captain Carter.
Captain Carter,
yeah.
As Captain Carter in like the Avengers theme movie, is what would the relationship between Tony Stark and Captain Carter be like? Because there was that big butting of heads for a while.
But then, like, she knew his father, though. Well, so did Steve, I guess.
So did Steve.
But it's a different relationship. Howard and Peggy had a different kind of a friendship.
Yeah.
Like, so, ooh, that's so interesting. Because I bet
that whole scene where he's like, everything special about you came out of a bottle. I'm wondering.
I don't think he can say that to Peggy.
He can't say that to her.
She'll like. she'll just knock him senseless. She's like,
I
knew your father. Step in line.
Steve would have a little bit more self-control, where Peggy would be like, I don't take that. Smack. Yeah,
absolutely. So that's definitely something really interesting to think about there. And obviously, seeing, as Peggy is pushing our giant, like, kaiju of a monster back into the portal, and the way she was saying to Steve, basically we've been saying this already, a very similar beat to Captain America, like, I've got a date next Saturday. I can't even, like, even though it's coming, or, well, actually, I don't know if it was going to come, because, like, I have no way of expecting where things are going to go, just because even if it's in, like, similar, or not similar, but familiar territory of the Captain America story, like, I didn't know, maybe she stayed, and maybe she, like, got to have a relationship with Steve. Obviously, this didn't happen because she went through the portal, and then 70 years later she comes out the opposite end. Holy crap! Yeah, 100% need a second episode picking up from where we left off.
And I think that's why they did that. That's why they actually ended with her coming back out of the portal, is so that maybe in season 2 we can get a continuation of the Avengers of Initiative. Yeah.
I wonder if that whole thing would change. The dynamic and everything would be pretty different. I would like to think. Who knows? And that's what's so interesting about the What If series, because it kind of then leads you into thinking, what is next then? Because it wasn't this, now it's this. So what happens next?
Oh, and also what would happen with Bucky? Who said it? I just saw it on there talking about, because
Wasted Hope.
Bucky's fine.
Yep.
He doesn't become the Winter Soldier then.
Honestly, I cut this part out of our reaction because you guys don't know this, because I don't edit with you guys. Obviously, it's all like very behind the scenes, but the edit took me 3 different tries before it went up. Like, I was up until 5 a.m. because it wouldn't go up. So that part inevitably got left on the cutting room floor. But we did have a reaction to when the train blew up. I said, "Oh, is Steve about to become Winter Soldier?" Which would have been such an interesting twist.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
That would have been such an interesting twist, because Bucky was fine. He was by Peggy's side. So that would have been really, really interesting. I kind of wish they in a way did that. But then also, does this mean we still potentially maybe get a Winter Soldier of some kind at somebody else?
Honestly, I think it would be awesome if it was Steve that became the Winter Soldier, kind of a thing. And then when they do the Avengers,
he's just so little
episode
with a big arm. Sorry, I just thought about that after the fact.
Teeny tiny Steve, big robotic arm.
Wind it up like this.
I almost think that probably what they would do is have, like, if Steve accidentally kind of got somehow fused into the Iron Man suit.
Oh.
So instead of the Winter Soldier, he would be like the Iron Soldier, kind of a thing. And there'd be this moment to where Peggy and the Iron Soldier are going against each other, and she throws her shield and knocks off the helmet, and you see like half of Steve's face.
Oh my gosh.
And she's just like, it's Steve.
It's Steve.
And I have to save
into
him.
A million pieces. Oh, season 2, make it happen. Somehow. So I don't know how you can, but maybe make it happen.
There could be there's a moment.
She had to leave. Well, she left, right? So who else better to fight Hydra than the existing platoon and Steve, because it's made, to be, you don't call it Hydra Stomper and then not use it against Hydra.
Yeah.
What if there was like a missed thing or something happened? He does. Ooh, Dustin. Ooh,
I like that idea.
I like
Disney,
that.
give me a call.
We got ideas. We got a super chat from Chris Mendez. Chris's
Woo,
choice.
thank you so much.
Chris writes, if you could bring back any show for one more season, what would it be? I would bring back Daredevil for at least one more season.
Firefly.
Great. Oh.
One more season of Firefly.
One more season.
I know that's probably a big one that a lot of people say, but yeah, I would love to see kind of a wrap up of everything that happened in Firefly and Serenity.
Yeah.
Even though they did kill off a lot of characters in Serenity, I would love to still see them kind of finish up, do one more season and tell us a little bit more about Book's backstory, because there was such a what is going on with this? What was the past life of this shepherd, kind of a thing? But yeah, definitely that's the first one that popped into my head was Firefly.
That's a good one. What popped in my head, and I think maybe because John Roca mentioned it yesterday, but Pushing Daisies.
Oh.
Such a good show. I was sad when it ended. So that one, and then maybe another episode of The Good Place.
Oh,
Sorry, not another episode, another season of The Good Place. I think they could have stretched it one more season, but obviously the writers and the showrunners were like, no, we're pretty confident with this is how we want the story to end, which is always great. Hey, Navi, don't do that. Don't do that. You weren't here. You were on break during your sound. Don't do that
I know
thing.
your union now.
Apparently our dog has joined a union. She was on her 15.
But what about you guys? What are some of the shows that you love that you thought just ended too soon?
We've got some of them right here. Let's see.
Someone said Alias, I think.
Alias. Debbie says Alias. Vanja says
Sarah
the Sarah
Connor
Chronicles. Lena
yes.
Headey. So. And Summer Glaus. So good. Let's see. Teenage Bounty. I can't read today. Teenage Bounty Hunter as well. Hidden Gem on Netflix says MK Songbird. Yeah, great choices there. Really, really great choice. And Noah says The Big Bang Theory, Phineas and Ferb. Amazing. And we have another super chat from General Grievous who says, Suckle lives! We shall never forget. Suckle.
I'm never going to live that down. We now need to get some kind of
sort of
animation, or not animation, but some kind of drawing
like
of a
meme
combination of
Knuckles.
Sonic and Knuckles, and then have them equals Suckles.
You can call me
Suckles. And everyone's just going to be like, why would you pick that name for yourself?
Why would you?
And then there's this moment of going, oh yeah, wait, that's probably not a good nickname. That's probably not a good name for me.
Other shows that people are suggesting that they would like to see another season of. Let's see, their Agent Carter. I agree with that. Luke Cage, The Defenders. The Gifted. Another season of The Last Airbender. Always. Make Suckles merch. You know what?
No.
Dustin says
no. Then I will officially never
live
it down. It's gonna be there will be merchandise with it on there.
Yeah. Hey, since we're
Dark Crystal.
Oh,
yes.
Justice for the Dark Crystal.
Thank you.
God.
Thank you, Adam.
What a great show.
That is honestly one that I should have thought of right off the top of my head. Definitely want another season of the Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance.
God, missed opportunity. Bring it back. Bring it back. Somebody grab it. Amazon, Netflix. Nope, Netflix let it go. Amazon, HBO Max.
Anyone.
Yeah. Bring it back.
I also wanted to have anyone who's a fan of the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, would you be okay with them making a animation version of it? Seeing how the puppets, I know the puppets are something that I would love to see, but that's just such a big money dropped in the bucket kind of thing, and I want to see the story.
Netflix was the one. No, we do it with puppets. They said it in the behind the scenes. They're the ones. They offered to do half and half.
Yeah.
They offered it. Well, more cost effective.
I think doing it half and half would be weird. I think just
don't
go
one or the other.
Yeah, one or the other. Either all puppets or all animation, because they showed us some of the behind the scenes stuff for that, and they were showing what they had. I was like, ooh, this doesn't go well.
I would rather it puppets. I really would rather.
Oh yeah,
puppets.
me too.
Yeah.
But if
maybe
it's either
they can just do a one-off movie.
Oh
one-off
yeah.
movie, wrap up the story, and then just let that be, and then we just don't talk about it after that because it hurts too much. But hey, real quick before we end the show, since we're talking a little bit about some of you guys in the show suggestions are talking about some of these like Marvel Netflix shows, there was an interesting bit of news that was dropped in our Discord that had the stunt coordinator for Brett Chan talking about just a brief, it's a part of a larger interview of a podcast, but they were talking about obviously his body of work, and he's done stunt coordinating for Iron Fist as well as Warrior. We all know how much we love Warrior, but it's funny to see his reaction at the mention of Iron Fist, and he just kind of cringed. And he talked about how it was a struggle of like these fights that they would put together, and then like it just wouldn't come together, you know. Or one of the biggest things, and this had nothing to do with like post-production and things being cut, because that happens, you know, like sometimes what you give them as a full package choreography can get edited and chopped down to like, what is that? Doesn't make sense. But one of the shocking things he said was, he didn't name any actors, I don't think, but he said some of the actors didn't want to train. They didn't want to train, so that's why it showed. And he said name drop here, that's why Jessica Henwick's stuff looks so good, because she would come and train 4 hours a day. She had no martial arts experience prior to that, and she went and she put in the work, and this is why Colleen looked better than Iron Fist when she was fighting. How are you in a show called Iron Fist that is based on, like, that's your thing, martial arts, and you're not gonna go train?
I know.
Do you not know what you
I would love to be able to have free, high quality, one-on-one training for, I mean, even if I wasn't doing a movie, kind of a thing. I mean, they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna pay you to come and become a martial arts expert.
Yeah.
I'll be like, I'm game.
Yep. So the tidbit is on our Discord, which you can, I'm gonna drop the link right now as soon as it opens up, because I was using it on my phone, so I wouldn't utilize all of my, like, CPU or whatever it's called on my computer. But let me go ahead and drop our, how do I do this? Our link to the Movie Couple Discord. Here we go.
Yeah, come and join us. Join in the chat. Join in all of the cool information that you guys are able to find. I mean, I love all of the stuff that you guys put on the Discord. We only have one request, and that is be nice.
Be nice, respect other people's opinion, and they will respect yours. It is okay to disagree on a movie or a TV show and have different opinions, because somebody's dislike of a film or a movie does not mean you can't like it. It does not mean it sucks. It just means it wasn't for them and they didn't like it. You can still go on and like it. So there is, just always know that. All right, you guys, we're going to go ahead and end the show here. Before we go, we want to wish Movie Bunch Adam a great day tomorrow. He is back at Disneyland after like a year and a half. I'm so excited for you. We're so happy.
Can't wait to go back and visit you.
Yeah, well, not this year. We're done with Disneyland for this year because the variant. But be careful. I know you're going to wear your mask. I know you're going to wash your hands. But don't touch your eyes. Don't do that. Keep things clean.
Wash your hands. Don't touch your face.
Stay healthy.
Wear a mask.
Yep. Congrats, Adam. And thank you so much
Dude,
to
I'm
everybody.
so happy for you. When you posted that on the Discord that you got your job back, we were so happy to hear it. And I wanted to give you just to reach through the screen and give you a big hug and say
we can do a meetup at Downtown Disney. We can still do Downtown Disney. We just won't go into the parks. Because, all right, you guys. We love you. We will see you on Wednesday for another live stream. Stay healthy, eat well, drink boba tea, and we'll talk to you soon.
Boba!